I used to wake up drenched in sweat, tangled in heavy sheets, feeling like I was sleeping in a sauna. I tried everything fans on blast, sleeping with one leg out, even freezing my sheets. Buying a cooling blanket seemed like the perfect fix, but my first few purchases were absolute disasters. Some felt like cheap plastic, while others lost their chill after 5 minutes. Finding the right cooling blanket is surprisingly frustrating. Today, I'm sharing the top 7 cooling blankets that actually work, solving those nightmare night sweats once and for all. Let's count down to the ultimate winner. 7. Bedsure Cooling Blanket. When I first pulled this blanket out of its packaging, I was immediately struck by how lightweight and smooth it felt against my skin. It definitely provides an instant icy sensation that is incredibly refreshing when you first lay down. I tested this one during a particularly humid week, and the initial relief it provided when I pulled it over my shoulders was undeniably pleasant. It is designed to pull body heat away from you, and in those first few crucial minutes of settling into bed, it absolutely does its job. The blanket features a double-sided design, which is pretty standard in the cooling blanket market, but still very much appreciated. One side is made from a nylon and polyester blend infused with cooling fibers, boasting a decent Qmax rating that scientifically proves its ability to absorb heat. The reverse side is a soft, breathable cotton that is meant for those nights when the temperature drops slightly and you just want a standard, cozy cover. This versatility means you aren't just buying a one-trick pony, and you can flip it over depending on how your room feels on any given night. However, my testing period with the Bedsure blanket revealed a few noticeable drawbacks that kept it from ranking higher on this list. While the cooling side is very slick and smooth, it is almost too slippery. I found that if I tossed and turned even slightly during the night, the blanket would slide right off the bed, leaving me completely uncovered and shivering by 3 a.m. Furthermore, while the initial cooling shock is fantastic, the fabric tends to absorb and retain your body heat after about 30 minutes. 6. In-hand Cooling Blanket. I was really intrigued by this one because it markets itself as a super versatile, ultra-lightweight option that is just as good for lounging on the couch as it is for deep sleep in a bed. When I first draped it over my legs while watching TV, the cooling effect was immediate and very soothing. It has a slightly different texture than the Bedsure, a bit more flexible and somewhat closer to the drape of a traditional thin throw, which makes it feel a little more comforting when you wrap it around your shoulders. This blanket utilizes a special Japanese cooling fiber technology, and you can genuinely feel the difference in the fabric's composition. It is incredibly breathable, allowing for excellent airflow, which is crucial for preventing that stifling trapped heat sensation. The material is designed to wick away moisture, so if you are someone who struggles with night sweats, this blanket works actively to pull the sweat away from your skin, helping you stay dry and reasonably comfortable throughout the night. It is a single-layer design, which contributes to its extreme lightness. Despite these positive features, my extended testing brought up a significant issue regarding its durability and long-term appearance. The fabric is extremely delicate, and I noticed that it began to pill quite badly after only 2 runs through the washing machine, even on the gentle cycle. Additionally, the loosely woven cooling fibers are highly prone to snagging. If you have pets that sleep on the bed with you, or even if you just have a rough edge on a fingernail, this blanket will catch and pull almost instantly. The aesthetics of the blanket degrade rather quickly, leaving it looking worn out long before it should. 5. Topcee Cooling Blanket. Right out of the box, the Topcee feels a bit more substantial than the previous 2 options without feeling heavy or suffocating. When I laid this out on my mattress, it immediately felt like a premium product. The stitching is tight and secure, and the overall drape of the blanket contours beautifully to your body, providing a gentle, comforting hug that doesn't trigger a heat wave. It was a genuine pleasure to test this one out during a hot summer weekend. The Topcee utilizes advanced arc chill cooling technology, and the difference is palpable. The Qmax value on this blanket is significantly higher, meaning its capacity to absorb and dissipate heat is much more efficient. It features a brilliant double-sided design, with a cooling mica nylon on one side and a 100% natural, highly breathable bamboo material on the other. The bamboo side is incredibly soft and adds a layer of luxurious comfort that you usually only find in high-end hotel bedding. It strikes a perfect balance between a cooling tool and a traditional, comfortable blanket. In practical use, the Topcee shines when it comes to sustained temperature regulation. Unlike some cheaper models that just feel cold for 5 minutes, this blanket manages to maintain a neutral, comfortable temperature for hours. I found it to be exceptionally useful for shared beds where one partner sleeps hot and the other sleeps cold. The hot sleeper gets the breathable, heat-dissipating benefits, while the blanket still offers enough physical substance to satisfy the partner who needs the psychological comfort of a real blanket. It completely transformed the dynamic of sharing a bed in my testing environment. 4. HOMFINE Cooling Blanket. Testing the HOMFINE was a delight because it feels incredibly sturdy while still delivering a powerful icy touch. When I draped this over my bed, the room instantly felt a bit more put together because the fabric has a lovely, subtle sheen that looks very high quality. Laying under it for the first time, the cooling sensation was deep and penetrating, instantly lowering my surface skin temperature and helping me relax. The standout feature of the HOMFINE is its meticulously crafted dual-sided construction. One side is made entirely from specialized cooling fibers that pull heat away from the body with impressive speed. The other side is a premium 100% natural cotton that is skin-friendly, hypoallergenic, and wonderfully soft. What I love about this design is that the cotton side doesn't just act as a backup. It works in tandem with the cooling side to improve overall airflow. The blanket is also completely anti-static, which is a huge bonus if you live in a dry climate and are tired of your bedding sparking when you move. During my testing, I found the HOMFINE to be the ultimate all-season companion. On peak summer nights, having the cooling side against my skin kept me perfectly chilled until morning. But what makes it so useful is that during the spring or fall, when the weather is unpredictable, you can simply flip it over to the cotton side. It provides just enough warmth to keep the chill away while still remaining breathable enough to prevent night sweats. It stays perfectly in place on the bed, solving the sliding issue I experience with lower-ranked models. 3. Cozy Bliss Cooling Blanket. From the second my skin touched this blanket, I understood why it is so highly rated. The texture is unbelievably silky and luxurious. Testing this blanket felt less like a temperature experiment and more like a spa treatment. It gently cascades over your body, creating a cocoon of coolness that instantly melts away the stress of a hot, exhausting day. It is, without a doubt, one of the most physically comforting blankets I have ever tested. Cozy Bliss uses a proprietary blend of ultra-cooling fibers that achieve an incredibly high thermal conductivity rate. This means the blanket doesn't just feel cool, it actively draws heat out of your body and releases it into the surrounding air. The double-sided design features their signature silky cooling material on one side and a brushed, ultra-soft microfiber on the other. It is remarkably lightweight, yet the drape of the fabric is heavy enough to provide that sensory feedback many sleepers need to drift off to sleep. The performance of the Cozy Bliss is absolutely stellar. If you are someone who struggles with sensory issues or simply hates the feel of scratchy, stiff bedding, this blanket will be a revelation. I used it during a stretch of incredibly humid, sticky nights, and it never once clung to my skin or felt clammy. Instead, it provided a consistent, breathable barrier that kept me cool and dry. The cooling effect is long-lasting, and because the material is so smooth, readjusting it during the night to find a new cold spot requires almost zero effort. Ultimately, the Cozy Bliss cooling blanket earns the number 3 spot by providing an unmatched tactile experience combined with top-tier cooling tech. 2. EASELAND Cooling Blanket. I tested this product because I know so many hot sleepers who still desperately crave the fluffy, substantial feel of a real comforter, but simply can't handle the heat. When I unpacked the EASELAND, I was amazed. It gives you that satisfying, cloud-like volume and thickness, but the moment you get under it, the temperature drops. It completely tricks your brain into feeling cozy and bundled up while keeping your body physically cool. The engineering behind the EASELAND is brilliant. The outer shell is constructed from double-sided cooling fabric infused with cold-sensing technology, maximizing the surface area that draws heat away from you. Inside, it is filled with a revolutionary 3D hollow alternative down fiber. This filling is the secret to its success. It provides loft and fluffiness without trapping heat. The hollow fibers allow air to circulate freely through the comforter, meaning the heat your body produces is immediately vented out rather than getting trapped in the padding. Sleeping under the EASELAND is an incredible experience. It solves the biggest dilemma for hot sleepers, the need for weight versus the need for cool temperatures. I found myself sleeping deeper and longer because the subtle weight of the comforter provided a calming, weighted blanket-like effect, while the high-tech shell kept night sweats completely at bay. It is generously sized, meaning it easily covers a large mattress with plenty of overhang, preventing those annoying middle-of-the-night tug-of-wars with your partner. The EASELAND takes the runner-up spot because it perfectly bridges the gap between traditional bedding and modern cooling technology. The box-stitch quilting keeps the cooling fill perfectly distributed, so you never have to deal with lumpy, uneven sections after washing it. It is incredibly durable, luxurious, and highly effective. 1. Vine Voice Cooling Blanket. After extensive testing of countless brands and styles, this blanket stands head and shoulders above the rest. When I first pulled this blanket over myself, the cooling sensation was so profound and immediate that it actually gave me goosebumps. It doesn't just feel cool to the touch, it feels genuinely cold. It was the only blanket in my testing lineup that managed to maintain that crisp, refreshing temperature from the moment I closed my eyes until my alarm went off the next morning. The Vine Voice blanket dominates because it utilizes the absolute highest grade of Arc-Chill Pro cooling fabric available on the market, achieving a record-breaking Q-Max rating. This isn't just marketing jargon. The science translates directly to a superior sleep experience. It features a brilliant double-sided construction, pairing the extreme cooling face with a beautifully woven, 100% natural bamboo reverse side. The edges are reinforced with premium binding, ensuring that the blanket won't fray or lose its shape no matter how aggressively you toss and turn or how often you wash it. In terms of everyday use, this blanket is nothing short of transformative. I tested it in a warm room with no fan, actively trying to make myself uncomfortable, and the Vine Voice blanket defeated the heat entirely. It manages moisture better than any other product on this list, wicking away sweat so efficiently that you never even realize you are perspiring. The drape is absolutely perfect. It contours to the body to block out warm drafts, but remains light enough to feel almost weightless. It is the ultimate shield against summer heat and intense hot flashes.